Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast, episode 48. What's going on, fellas? Just Jerry and DT.
Que lo que hay, Bori.
Oh, I see the hat. I see the hat.
Daddy Yankees back. Daddy Yankees back.
I tell you, we got I had to go to the draft. I got I'm top prospect because we're getting rid of Lance next week.
That's right. That's right.
We had to go to the
farm. Oh yeah. I gotta ask this question. Listen, 2 weeks. You still with us?
AKA 2-week notice in the house. What's going on?
14-day notice, pa.
I'm out here. So guys, listen. We got hit with a Facebook question, and that question was, after I close on my first property, then what? I was like, oh, all right. You know, I like that because you know what? We always preach about, you know, that YouTube journey that we're on, and we listen to information, and then we're like, all right, then what? And then we tackled that, right? Yeah. So now that we've tackled that and we've brought it to the world, people are now, you know, completing our system, you know, in our program, H.G.R.G.club. And
so what was that?
They're going, okay, now what?
You said H.G.R.G. what?
.club.
Okay.
H.G.R.G.club. So, and now people are saying, you know, all right, I did everything. I did all the steps. Yeah. You know, I'm at closing. Now what?
Yeah.
So DT, now what?
Story time with DT.
Oh.
Yeah. So to pigtail off what you said, which is I think is important. You know, a lot of times, you know, obviously when we created this, it was more so, you know, what they don't tell us. You know, give me your people, your connects, your plugs, what you do, how you do it. Don't kind of I heard somebody say today, dangle a carrot in front of my face, and then, you know, when I go to grab it, you take it away or whatever. So you know, we try to make as transparent as possible so you don't have to guess and you don't have to, you know, figure it out. And I'm sure the people who listen who are already seasoned are like, oh, wow, you know, that's true. The ones who are not, they're like, oh, that's great information. And the ones who are trying to get to a different level, there's different episodes for you. This one might not be for you. But if you want to stick around, just confirm what we're saying or add on. And obviously you feel free to leave comments, talk to us. We talk back. Nevertheless, that question was asked to us by somebody who, when they bought their property, they did a final walkthrough. And when they did the final walkthrough, there was a tenant there. So there was all the furniture, pictures on the walls, you know, people in the house. So you weren't able to see every single square inch of the property. So everything was good at the final walkthrough. I'm great. You know, I want to buy it. They do. Long story short, they close on the property. When they close on the property, they go back to the house. Now the tenant stuff is all gone. Property's 100% empty. When they go back, when it's empty, before they went back, when they saw the property for the final walkthrough, their interpretation was, oh, it's move-in ready. We don't got to do nothing. Maybe a little touch-up paint here, and that's that. But when the tenant moved out and they went back after they closed on the property, now they're the owners of the property. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. You know, carpets were stained, holes in walls.
Yesterday's property was not today's property.
Today's property. It's not today's property. 100%. So, and that was, it was surprising to say the least. You know, for some of them, it was like, what do I do now? Because not everybody's built to see past stuff, right? Sometimes you walk in a property, like obviously, you know, we're super seasoned. So, you know, when you walk in, you see a ton of things. Like I could see past the things and just be like, oh yeah, this is great. Like I love it. I mean, you know what I mean? And everybody else walks in there like, you don't see this? Are you?
That used to be me 100%.
Right. So, you know, and you know, some people, entry level people, even seasoned people still can't see past that to a certain extent. So this episode is kind of dialing in on, what that looks like. So people who do their final walkthroughs or their walkthroughs while they're looking at the property, don't just pay attention to light fixtures, light switches, doors opening, closing properly. Look at carpets, look at sofas, look at the walls around and behind the sofas. Look at the bathtub, the shower head, the hot water tank, the furnace, the floors. Like, pay attention, the trim, something people don't pay attention to. When you walk in a property, you look at the floor, where the floor meets the trim. Make sure that all those gaps are, tight, because if there's a big gap between the floor and the trim, that may mean your house is sinking. That may mean your subfloor is messed up and you need to, jack the house up, replace your subfloor. Like, there's just a lot of small details that people don't know. And we can't tell you every part of that because, if you don't have that contractor background or if you're not super seasoned, you may not know that. So, with that being said,
what we do, we try to give you all the information so you could. But there's always, just because you're not seasoned, you might miss a couple things, but you have other people to help you. We have realtors, we have property managers, we have all that to help you. It's just that at times when you think you can do it yourself, you kind of miss a couple things, and that's what it comes down to. And
to go even a little bit further, to be super transparent, with H.G.R.G, we have like a checks and balance system, right? With our program, so it's kind of bulletproof. You can't mess this thing up. If you follow our program, there is no such thing of oh wow, I didn't know that.
Right, but that's with H.G.R.G.club. So right. if we have a broad audience. So if you don't mess with H.G.R.G.club and you just listen to us, this is for you, for sure.
Oh, by the way, which you should be messing with H.G.R.G.club. But if you don't, and obviously messing with H.G.R.G.club doesn't mean that you're like fully invested on every aspect. I mean, we do things as simple as a call. You guys feel free to give us a shout for just advice, mentorship, run something up the flagpole. We have something coming up pretty soon that we're going to be doing that will make ourselves available for people to do so, but only for a limited amount, obviously, because our time is limited. But nevertheless, that's another conversation. But yeah, so these people, they walk through the property. If they would have went through the HGRG.club system, it may not have turned out this way. But these people in particular, they waived the home inspection. So they kind of did the walkthrough on their own, right? So in doing that, the home inspection wasn't able to break down for them line for line for line, itemized things that could go wrong, are not, in the way they're supposed to be, will need attention at some point in time. So with that being said, this happens. Nevertheless, it's important to pay attention on your final walkthroughs. Now, if you're an investor who is not actually on site, it's important for whoever's on site doing the walkthrough for you that they get detailed pictures, detailed videos, and that the fact that, the person who's walking through that property knows what to look for. Not afraid to walk in basements, walk in attics, no matter what's behind that door, right? Sometimes people say, I'll do a walkthrough for you, and they're scared to walk in the attic because there may be a bird or a squirrel, or they just don't like attics, or there may be a ton of clothes up there, and they're not, they don't want to walk over somebody's clothes or move a dresser to the side. Same thing in a basement. They don't want to walk down there because it smells bad or whatever. When you're going into these properties, you need somebody who's like not afraid to get their, Lance says it all the time. I want a realtor who's hungry. I don't want a realtor who's too bougie, if you will, to walk into basements or walk into attics or go through cobwebs or something like that. I want somebody who's grinding, somebody who's going to do that for me, because number one, they know what I'm going to bring in return, and number two, I want to earn that type of business because those are the people who I'm going to win with.
Right. And not to cut you off, but that's why in a long time ago in another another episode, I said when I was first building the team that I'm not going with the realtor that is the best, the best seller and has sold the most property. I'm not doing that. They may not do what I need them to do, and just Jerry agreed, so we found a realtor that was, not at the bottom, but average, and no disrespect, if you watch this, that was
at the time.
at the time,
Right,
right? At the time,
yeah.
you know, average, you know, that dealt with the area that we were dealing with.
Yeah.
And I knew that they would go in there and give us, you know, their all, and it worked out perfectly.
Which actually, that's a great segue too, because this can, I think it just fits perfectly. You know, we if you watch our episodes before, you know, like to Lance's point, building the team and talking about all that, you know, somebody may have watched that. I've heard this before. You know, why do you say that? Why do you say you go with the middle? You don't go with the top tier one? Well, you know, it really depends on your market. It depends on the types of property you're looking into, because, you know, just common sense tells you if I'm a realtor that lists properties for $1 million, commercial property, mostly residential, suburban homes, I'm probably not going to be the realtor that's going to be for you that are looking into the rental market, you know, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5 areas, or 1, 2, 3 areas. I'm not going to be that person for you. Now, if you're looking for a single family or a commercial property in like a 7, 8, 9 area, then you call me. Right. So essentially what I'm saying is that there's levels to realtors, what they do, what's their wheelhouse, right? So I'm not going to say I disagree with Lance, but I do tap into, we do also. Lance was saying, let me speak for you because I know what you meant. Lance was referring to when he was building his team, right, that he wanted to work with those people. That doesn't mean that we don't work with the people that are the best in that field, in that industry, in that market, in that niche. We work with them as well. But right, for his team, it was different because he wanted those people to do the extra mile, take that extra step. Right. But I think that's important because in a situation like this, when you do like your final walkthrough, you're a good seasoned realtor will make you walk in the basement, will make you walk in the attic, will make you understand that, hey, there's a lot of stuff in here. So don't be surprised if when they move out, you got to do this, you got to do that. So I think that's very pertinent information that people need to consider as well.
Right. So let me ask this. They did a walkthrough, you know, with themselves, you know,
that was story time with D.
That was story time with D. so, you know, with that being said, you know, they did do the walkthrough, but now they're in the position where
now what?
Now what?
Now
you
what?
Know, so I have holes here. I have carpets that need to be now. Where do we go from here?
Jerry, what do you? You got experience with that?
So, what I would tell you is H.G.R.G tells you to have a little pocket change, because everything is not going to be just freelance, and you're going to be moving ready. You're going to touch something. Something is going to have to get touched. The tenant, if you closed on a property and the terms were kicking the tenant out, 9 times out of the tenant is going to destroy your house before they leave. Right, or mess it up.
And the bank don't give you the money to pay for that rehab or that rent ready, right? That's all out of pocket. Those are all funds that you got to make sure you have, you know, allocated prior to you closing on that deal. And to Jerry's point, you know, with H.G.R.G, we would let you know, our team would make sure you're notified or you know about that before you even put the offer in. There's no surprises here. You know, we warn you, you know, somebody who's not seasoned may not realize that. Somebody who's seasoned, you're going to know. You're going to know, hey, this X amount of expenses once you close on this property. I don't want you to think you pay closing costs, you know, you get your bank financing, now you own the property, and then that's it. You're scot-free. That may happen. You know, if you got that turnkey property that was vacant when you bought it, that's a possibility. But if you're buying, you know, a property that was already, you know, occupied, and then the terms of the contract where that tenant now vacates that property, there's an expense attached to that. There is no, you know, scrub the toilets and wipe the bathtubs and kitchen and then re-rent. There's no such thing as that.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, just Jerry, how many people have you had, you know, move out and they don't destroy the property, but you still got to come out of pocket for rent?
1,000%. We had. I remember this tenant pretty much like yesterday. The person moved in, stood there for about 3 years, 3.5 years, I think. Right. That tenant moved out, and she washed the carpets. She patched the holes that she had. Did a styling on the bathroom. And when we got in there, we still had to do paint. We still had to fix a couple cabinets.
Like,
so
the whole 9
she
years.
did amazing.
And say why though. Explain why. You know why? Because if I'm listening to you and I'm not really experienced, I'm like, you just explained to me that she just took care of the whole property. She returned it to you how she got it. So why did you have to do anything?
Because first, so you have to make it. Now, I don't want to say lipsticks, but you have to make it look great for the next person.
Right.
The next person has to walk in and go a wow factor.
Right.
Because if you don't do that, you still have patches of the holes that she created.
Yeah.
You think that tenant wants to walk in and go, "Oh, this is my house"?
Right. Also, too, you got to think too, right? So that tenant lived there for 3.5 years. You own that property for 3 years. So when you bought that property, that tenant was already there, and then you owned it for 3 years. So now they live there for 3 years of you owning it. Right. So now when they move out, this is the first time you're able to touch the property and make it yours. This is the first time you as an owner are able to touch that property and create the quality that you want to, give out to your tenancy. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, you can make the conscious decision, mind you, let's be clear. Some people just say, okay, tenant cleaned it up. She patched the holes. Everything's good. I want to rent it just like I rented it. And those would be categorized more so probably like slumlordish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, obviously that's not our wheelhouse, not what we do. We like to create an amazing product, an amazing quality property. It doesn't matter the area. You could be in a 1, you could be in a 10. It
don't matter. You already know this if you're listening to our episodes.
We want to create
we make a 1 feel like a 10.
Right. And we want to create a product that you feel like when you see it, I gotta have it, and I'm not going nowhere because I'm not going to get this nowhere else for this price.
Right, and you're going to treat it right because we treat it right. You know, so we just want, like you said in the last episode, the shit rolls down creek. At the end of the day, we want to kind of reverse that. Like, hey, this is how we treat it. We want you to treat it that way. We want to make it feel like home for you. We want you to make it feel like home for you. Yep.
Again, and that's not always the case. We want to make sure that you understand, even if you're taking the extra step to make it homely, make it feel comfortable, the tenants feel comfortable. Not saying every tenant is going to go, "Oh, you did this for me, I'm going to take care of your property." We're not saying that. Right. What we're saying is you give a better chance.
Right. It's not a guarantee. Right.
Yeah, we give a better chance, making them feel warm and fuzzy.
That's a good point.
And they leave warm and fuzzy.
Right. I wish we were saying that though.
I swear.
I wish we were saying that.
I swear.
Yeah. But so not to cut you off, DT. So the reality is that when people move out, even if you do a walkthrough, that's thorough, the chances are you're still gonna have to come out of pocket for some things. There's not, some things are not willing. You're not willing to. You should be willing to fight. For them to do or to get, so that way you can, when you acquire the property. So, not every fight's a good fight. If there's holes in the wall, if there's new paint, or whatever, you don't have to ask the person that's moving out to do that. Just come out of pocket, do it, get the deal done, get it under your control.
So what? Yeah, 1,000%. So to answer the question in layman's terms, respectfully, what's next? You take over the property, you close, you go to the property, right? You inspect it. What does that mean? Make sure the tenant, all their stuff are gone. Okay, if there's not, you got to clean it out. Before you clean it out, you need a contractor to assess, give you an estimate, a quote, what needs to be done. Not only a contractor, but depending on who you are as an investor, you may need somebody there with a professional opinion. H.G.R.G.club provides all of that. If you are not part of H.G.R.G.club, we can have conversations, Zoom calls that can help you with that. But if you're not and you're just a listener, make sure you get like an experienced contractor there, somebody who's familiar with the rental market, wherever you are, so that you're not overspending, you're not underspending, but you're getting the top market value for your property, right?
Great point.
You don't want to go into a property who is, the carpets are in good shape, but you don't like carpet, you want hardwood floors. You don't tear it up, but you peel back a corner of the carpet and there's no hardwood floors under there. Plywood. So now for you to put hardwood floors may cost you $10,000. That may not be the best financial decision. I don't care how much money you got. That may not be the best financial decision for you. So you just need somebody who's going to rationalize that and make sense of it for you. Okay, cool. So now you're at the property. You got that person there, that team, that contractor, whatever that looks like. You figure out a plan, you figure out a budget, right? Light fixtures, smoke detectors, flooring, painting, appliances, all that good stuff. While, mind you, this is like right after closing. So after you sign the papers, you go right there and you figure this out. Also, while you're there, you take pictures of the meters. Take a picture of the electrical meter, take a picture of the gas meter. That's your utilities. Now, the prior tenant should have had those utilities under their name. Now, you're going to be doing some type of work here, right? You're going to have contract. So you're going to have to change that, transfer that to maybe your name or your property manager's name in the meanwhile, so that when the contractors come, there's lights and there's power for them to work. Most people don't even know that. Like something that simple may not even be, it sounds stupid for me to say it, but it's a real thing. Like people don't even think about that.
Most people doesn't never think about that, bro. Most people, that's not even a conversation.
You don't hear. I've never heard that on a conversation episode I've heard, right? Which is not like it's wow, mind blowing. It's very simple, but it's perfect. It's very
sometimes it's the nuances, man, that you need to learn. So that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to be in the game.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to find every piece of information, every business that you start, right? So that's something like you learn while you're in the game already. You've already decided to do it. You've bought the property, and then a contractor gets there, and then you learn oh, I don't have any electricity in any power in this property.
The issue to that is for us. Well, DT brought it up, but for us and seasoned investors, that's a small, minute conversation.
But it could turn into a big dollar amount.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, and so when we talk about that, we already know that that's not even a conversation. So they leave that out.
It's second nature. Right.
They leave that out, and then when you get there, like, yo, but who are they? Are they bringing generators? Because
oh my God. Yeah, that's where
it comes down to.
And I got a lot of love for this gentleman, but I went to a house the other day, last week, right? And what I'm telling you, real life, like I can't make this up. Hey, gotta have power. Oh yeah, the power's on. It's in your name? Because I know you just closed on this today. No. It's in the previous tenant's name. I said, okay. He was like, yeah, we got to do this. We got to hurry up. We got to do this work fast before it gets turned off. I said, hold on. You want to schedule this whole rehab around how fast the power is going to stay in the previous person's name so that you don't have to pay a power bill?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I said, okay.
Listen, and that might sound good to a lot of people, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to
DT, what's the problem? What's the problem?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, do you understand? Okay, so let's be clear. How much do you think it's going to cost you for the bill? Let's just say it takes a month.
$100, bro.
He said, I don't know.
$50, bro.
I said, bro, it's going to be like $50, $80 because it's summertime. There's no heat. So the only thing you're wasting is electricity. It'd be like $80, $50. He's like, oh, all right. Well, I'll get it turned on in my name. How do I do that? I was like, you got to take a picture of the meter, XYZ. The same thing I just said. Now, mind you, so this is I'm a little bit of a tangent, but it's important, pertinent information. People don't say this. If you don't do it, you wait on the tenant. The tenant has it on their name. You forget about it. Tenant turns it off. You don't realize it. 60 days go by.
I already know where you're going. But
you didn't realize you guys just went through this not too long ago. You didn't realize that the power wasn't on, or something else happens. Okay, it's done. A tenant moves in, right? They go to turn the power on. When they go to turn the power on, the utility company requires that if the power was off for 60 days or longer, that it needs to be re-inspected by the municipality.
Yep.
The municipality goes to re-inspect. It doesn't meet 2022 code. There's nothing wrong with it. It's in perfect condition, but
it was working. It was working 60 days ago, bro.
Perfectly working 60 days ago. But it does not meet the code of 2022. So because it doesn't meet the code of 2022, you now have to upgrade it to 2022 standards.
That is $4,000.
Which if it's if it's one unit, you're looking at probably $2,000. If it's 2 units, $4,000. 3 XYZ, you get my point. So something as simple as when you close, calling the utility, sending them pictures of the meters, and then maybe paying $80 to $100 a month can eventually cost you thousands of dollars because you just didn't know the step.
Which this is your first property, and you didn't expect that.
You didn't know that. It's, innocently, you drop that ball. If you don't have the right team, this is not season, and to hip you to that, you won't know that.
Now you're already down $2,000 to $4,000
that you didn't have, or maybe you did, but whatever, you shouldn't have spent.
Right. Or that $4,000 was your safety net, just in case you get bad tenants or whatever it looks like, right?
Right.
But now that safety net is gone.
You close in January, you're selling in March.
So, all right, I don't want to drag this on too long. What we do, we get the power, you figure out the utility bill, you figure that what that looks like, you get that done. You settle on some type of rehab budget, whatever you're going to do flooring wise. You got to make sure you have a person who explains to you what should be done, what types of materials are needed in this property to get you top dollar in your rent, keep you a long-term tenant, set your rent amount at a sustainable amount. You don't want to undercut yourself. You don't want to overcut yourself. You want to try to put your rent
at the market value. Know your market.
Market value, exactly. Okay, cool. Past that, now you got to
H.G.R.G helps you with all that.
With all that, every aspect, like A to Z. Literally hold your hand, not like a baby, but like somebody we love, like
a baby. Go ahead.
Right. So you agree on pricing. You think you got the right team together. You think you got the right plan together. You have the funds. Okay, you send out deposits or you give the funds up, right? Are you done? No. Who's checking up on the work? Who? Lance and Jerry got the best story about this. This is how H.G.R.G, the birth of H.G.R.G relationship derived from a story like this.
I'm not telling this story again. Fuck you guys.
ain't gonna do it. When it's not gonna be story time with Lance and Jerry. I know.
Yeah, we're gonna stop saying this story.
But it's true. It was the birth of H.G.R.G.
In a nutshell, Lance and Jerry did everything we just said. They did all that. They thought they had the right team in place. They sent out deposits. No, actually, they sent out all the funds for the repair. At that point in time, they were creating a checks and balance system, and that's how we evolved. That's how our relationship became. I go to the property, they tell me what they're expecting, I tell them what I see, and it was night and day. So that was a very expensive lesson for them.
Yeah, $30,000. You can say it. $30,000 lesson.
I am not talking about this anymore.
So that's why it's important for once you've decided on the budget, what you're going to do, who you're going to do it with, who's your GC, who's your PM, not property manager, project manager. If you don't have a property manager, you should have a PM, project manager, or a GC, general contractor, who's going to facilitate or head that rehab. If you're not seasoned enough or whatever, nevertheless, you got to have somebody who's going to be in charge of that job. And
we're not in town.
Checking up, yeah, exactly. If you're, overseas or out of town investor, or even if you're in town but you just don't know what this looks like, have somebody who knows what this looks like and pay them whatever they want, because I promise you're going to be saving a lot of money. That fee, whatever it is, I mean, obviously it's got to be reasonable. It'll be well worth your time because this is how you avoid headaches. This is your checks and balances. Cool. So now you got the people in place. You give deposits, you give money up, work is being done to satisfaction, hopefully, job gets done. Then you turn it over to either yourself to get it rented, or to a property manager or their team to get it rented. And now you're officially a landlord now if you're able to do that. So that's in a nutshell. I know I went on a rant, but it's kind of like my wheelhouse here. This is what now. After I bought the property, closed on it, seen it, what now? If you just rewind probably the last 15, 20 minutes and you don't get it, we just gave you everything you need to know. like
Yeah.
watered
And
it down. To you.
I know and some alumni is going to email us and say, "Oh, you gave it to them for free." I know, but but this is the life stuff. And I'll say this again: it's our team that we like to give, man. Like this, and that's our real stuff, our mentorship. The team. So guys, relax. Stop emailing us.
Yeah.
Stop texting us because of this podcast.
Like one of our students will say, "Man, you gave him the whole playbook."
Gave him the whole playbook.
You know what?
Which we didn't, bro. Which we didn't.
We gave him the playbook, but we didn't give him the players.
We did it though, because if you
like that, Jerry, shut up. I like that.
We're not. I'm not getting these text messages anymore. I'm not doing this no more, bro. I'm not getting an email. We did not give you the playbook. Don't listen to us.
Don't listen. so let's say they've done all that now, right? And now the question after that is, I have a tenant. I live on, let's say I got duplex. I live in tenant. I live on the other side. What now?
If you don't have a CP, do you have a property manager? Would be my first question. How did you get all that? Did the property manager help you with that? Or did you do that by yourself?
Well, I'm hoping from what we preach, I'm hoping that they have property management in place.
Okay. So if you have a property manager, next step would be make sure you have a CPA as well. Right? Everything you spend, all that money you spent, every dollar towards contractors, materials, supplies, gas mileage, coffee breaks, your lunch, everything, your earphones for your cell phone, your batteries for your watch,
I'm letting you know right now, we're getting another fucking email, bro. every guys telling everybody what the fuck, bro.
Everything has to be calculated, has to be documented, and your CPA will help you, get that, together with your taxes. So that would be, to me, step one. After you already have a property manager, CPA would be number two. And then number three after that is just stacking up paper to get your next one. That's
wrong for you. Stack your money. Put your money in your bank. Get ready to unload and attack again. It's rinse and repeat, baby.
That's it.
It don't change.
Very simple. Very simple.
It don't change. It don't change. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. As far as
you act like you answering the email right now.
I'm not talking to you guys right
now. Well, we know this episode on the air, yeah. So I know you're in the email, yeah. So, but really, that's what it is, guys. As far as the what now, the what next. It's not just you sign your name on the paperwork in the office, and then you run to your new property, and it's ready for you.
Lance, Jerry, what happens if I bought a property? I bought a duplex. My tenant on the left pays $100 less than market value. My tenant on the right pays market value. I don't know the quality of the tenants, but should I raise the rent right up front? What should I do? Should I sign new leases because they're month to month?
No, absolutely not. What you do is depending on how the history looks like. So if the history looks good with the tenants, you kind of keep them there so you can get.
Do you trust the history of the previous buyers, or do you?
No, absolutely not. You don't. You can, but you're gonna fail. But you do the month to month for a couple months.
Yep.
Understand where they're at, and if they're paying you on time and doing what you got to do,
that's a gem. That's a gem.
Because it's gonna benefit you. You need the income to come in. That's what you are. You're a business, so you need the income to come in. Right. So if they're not paying you, kick them out. They're on a month to month. Yeah. Fix what you got to fix, and then go to market value. Sure. But right now, if they're paying, take it. Yep. Understand it. Relax. Keep them on the month to month. You don't have to put them on the lease.
That's right.
So keep them on the month to month, because once that month to month is in the game, you're now in control. That's right. Once you put them on a lease, another 6 months or a year, right. It's out of your hands.
You got buyers that come to us and be like, "Hey, I got this property that I love. I'm right now I'm in negotiations, but I asked the seller, I don't want to buy the house unless they put the tenants in I want them to be in a new 1-year lease." What do you say to that?
Absolutely not.
That is not a smart decision.
Do not. If you have the choice to keep them month to month,
buyers think, I don't know why, bro. I don't understand. G, break this down for me. Why do buyers think that, oh, because I got them in a 1-year lease, that means I'm guaranteed rent for a year? Why do they think like that?
That's the break, because you're trying to secure the bag.
Oh, I know why.
Is that real though? Is that?
It's not, but in their mind, they're trying to, I don't want to cut you up, Jerry, but they're trying to secure the bag. Go ahead, just Jerry.
I know why though, because in their mind, if they're there, that's half the battle. If I have a tenant, it's half the battle. They don't understand, hey, they could be there and not pay.
Right.
No. It's half the battle. It's half the battle.
Right.
It's half the battle.
And how important, how pertinent was that to your success or to some of your failure, right? Throughout COVID, to be able, because you guys are seasoned, thank God. And who we talk to, who we preach to, who's a part of H.G.R.G.club, H.G.R.G.club, they're able to avoid things like this. Not everybody. It has not been bulletproof, because even H.G.R.G. can't avoid, some of these nightmares when you buy a property. Sometimes you inherit it, right? Full disclosure, let's be honest, we're not perfect, but we obviously up front, you understand though, this is a possibility.
We also give you the best options.
Right.
So we don't just not say this is green, this is great, this is going to work. We don't do that. We give you best options and give you the exit plan as well. I'll tell you this though. When you said COVID, they had programs that locked you in with a tenant for 12 months.
Right. If
they give you the back paint, give you the back pay. Yeah. But you're locked in for 12 months.
What does that mean? Locked in. What does that mean?
That means for 12 months you can't kick them out.
Right. You're married to them.
You're married if they pay or not.
You're married.
Yeah. Regardless. So now, if they had a history of not paying, and now they get the back pay because of COVID, but before COVID they did not pay as well. They took long to pay. H.G.R.G. would not do the program.
Right.
Because we know besides this program, they're going to stop paying regardless.
You were terrible before. You're going to be terrible after.
Absolutely.
What am I doing? But sometimes people, they're in a situation where those funds are like,
they have to take it.
Yeah. Like,
but if you're not, and we know who you are, I'd rather keep you out, man. Yeah. I'm not taking the program.
She gone.
And we could be clear, just Jerry and I, at first when we were acquiring properties, it was enticing to us that there were people there already. We didn't understand that the headache that may come. We didn't understand that these guys were not paying this. That's why I love this podcast, because we give it to you from our experiences. Yeah. And once again, we preach this, and then give you a story about how we were dumb.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Or we just were ignorant to it. I want to call us dumb, but ignorant to it. And we're like, oh man, they already got tenants in it.
I'll call you.
You just purchase it, right away. There's no placement fee. There's no nothing. We can just collect money right off the bat. And then we go there and we're like,
then you got to think. You always
it's been 2 months.
You always got to keep in mind.
I don't even pay this amount. I pay this amount.
Why would somebody sell you a producing asset, right, with a good tenant that's a producing asset for a discounted price? That's not going to happen. You will never buy a producing asset for a discounted price unless it's like an anomaly. You're just so happen to be right
retire,
time.
Whatever.
This person, an anomaly is the exception, but the ordinary is not. That's not going to happen. So if you're going to buy a non-performing asset for a discounted price, that sounds more like it. That's probably what you're purchasing 99% of the time when the price is almost too good to be true. 100%.
They hit you with that ROI.
Oh yeah, on paper
what they wish it was
23%, 19%. What 3% vacancy, 5% expenses.
Yeah.
Okay.
All those lovely numbers that that would catch our eye.
On a 4 or 5
before you know it, we were like, we want the properties with nobody in it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We'd rather go get our own tenants and vet them the way we want to vet them, make the property the way we want to make the property, and then
is that your stance now?
For the most part.
Right.
for the most part, for sure. You know, 'cause like I said,
depending on the demographic and area location.
it all depends, because you might have one tenant on one side and no tenant on the other side, but the other tenant is fine. You know, we check it out, they let you in, they keep the spot clean. You know, we're like, all right, you know what? It's tough to look at someone that keeps their spot clean, looks like they care about their property, you know, and not be someone that pays. Maybe they pay late, maybe they get to you on the 7th every month, then between the 7th and the 12th.
Yeah.
You know, how many of those have we had?
Even
you know,
it's ever evolving, right? Different situations, different scenarios. Even me, I'm more of a hands-on person. I'm not really an out-of-town investor. I'm here, my boots on the ground. Like, I'm physically touching every property. I'm walking in and out of them. But just recently, for the first time in my life, I bought a property sight unseen. And I still to this day haven't walked through it. I've owned it for 4 months. Don't know what it looks like inside. Don't even know the tenant. Personally, I don't know the tenant, but they pay rent. The agreement is what it is. And I won't know the property until that agreement changes, until that tenant stops paying rent or whatever. Then I'll go over there and I'll change everything. Will have to change. But right now, this is the first time I've done that. But you know, because my team is so strong and it's so official and it's so intact, it gave me the confidence to do that, because I was on vacation and it just so happened to happen. And I was like, yeah, do it. Go walk through it.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
Whatever. And it worked out. And, you know, we're talking about 3 months I've owned it, 3-4 months. And rent comes in on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and everything's good. I don't even look at it. I haven't, and I won't. And I haven't paid it. I haven't spent 1 penny on the property.
Right.
Closing.
And that was, you know, and usually we would love for everything to work out that way, but you know, it's real estate and it doesn't. Right.
That's not normal. That just so happened to be. But it's an attestament to what the team is, what our team is. That would not be possible had it not been for me having such a strong team. I can't give myself no credit on that. That's the team, because I didn't do anything. I literally, what I did was I just took the chance, but I had to trust in my team to take that chance. So the team, and that team is H.G.R.G. and it's really just that simple. You know what I mean?
Really trusting us.
That's a fact. Well, listen, guys, you know what? When you ask us now what, is that. You know, you now know what to do. Rewind it.
What episode is this?
This is 47 right here.
48.
That's why you're done.
No, but listen, let me keep pushing it back, because the closer we get to 50, this is episode 43, isn't it?
When they ask the question, now what? It's episode 48 is the answer.
Yes, sir.
It's episode 48.
Yeah. When we went to the farms and we got the new talent, you know what I'm saying? We went to Puerto Rico and we grabbed up a couple of new prospects.
well, listen. Once again, guys, hopefully we answer your question, you know, from our mouths to your ears. It's Mr. 2 week notice over here, along with Just Jerry and DT.
H.G.R.G.club. Subscribe.
That's right. Hit the like button as well, and we'll see you on the other side.
Back. Salute.
What they say? I'm so divine, imperfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, imperfection, my presence shines.